We got Bill Cosby over here, cooling. Felt I had something else. Ooh, oh my God, so vicious. Chicago rapper KTS Dre shot as many times as 64 and killed after being released from county jail. Story: KTS Dre was shot dozens of times and killed Saturday night, shortly after being released from jail. The rapper, born Londre Sylvester, was one of the three people shot in Little Village, Chicago, Saturday night. Sylvester was taken to Mount Sinai Hospital and pronounced dead after suffering as many as 64 bullet wounds. Wow. To the head and other parts of the body, according to a police report obtained by the Chicago Tribune. Both a 60-year-old who was walking with Sylvester from the jail and a separate 30-year-old woman were shot as well and were in good condition, per the Chicago Tribune. According to the Tribune, he was the intended target, and he had just been released from custody. He was wearing a monitoring device on his ankle. Sylvester and two women were shot when several suspects exited two cars, blah, blah, blah. No arrests have been made, according to CWB Chicago. Sylvester's stage name KTS stands for Kill to Survive, a phrase he had tatted on his neck, along with a target symbol. They say death is on the tongue, but it's death in the imagery, in the music, and other things. This is sad. I could get into things of saying, sorry. Well, how did they know he was going to be released then? How could they be so sure and so orchestrated to plan that attack as soon as he got out? How did they know he was going to get out at that time? I could go into saying, yo, maybe the Chicago jail needs to do a better job of releasing inmates silently and in places where they can't be hurt, because if someone knows they're getting out, they know exactly where they're going to be, and they could. I could say all that, but if I ask you if your name is Kill to Survive, if on your neck, and let me bring this up right here, you have almost a bullseye, it's a target. Whether you were trying to send a message that you were down to be in some situation like that, or they were too pussy to do it, when that happens, who are we to blame? Who are we to blame, honestly, Chad? Is death on the tongue, or is death that follows the lifestyle? Or is it both? Lil Durk has had many people that died around him. He raps about death. Other rappers in Chicago, nothing but death around them. All they rap about is death. Who is to be blamed? The cost of life is so cheap in Chicago. And I don't want to personalize this. I don't want to make this Ack is only talking about this because, he's mad people used to blame him for stuff. I purposely did not report this. Chicago's death toll this weekend. Remember, they said Ak was the one doing it. I was giving nicknames to people. Chicago's most violent weekend of 2021. 104 shot, 19 killed, 13 kids wounded. Who is to be blamed when the scapegoats are out the way? Who is to be blamed? This is July 6th, chat. Who is to be blamed? When I used to cover the war in Chiraq, I used to call around Independence Day. I said, yo, that was like the Chiraq Olympics. There was just historically always record killings, record shootings, usually of at least 75 to 80, or at least over 80. 104. Who is to be blamed? I don't want to sit here pointing fingers at all. And I've been there where people have blamed me. Who is to be blamed now? Who is to be blamed? If you ever wonder why I stopped doing the war in Chiraq, it's not because of any people who have felt a certain type of way about it. I got to the point and I realized things will never change. It might sound fucked up to you, but I thought I was making a change. Despite what you've heard, I never clown people who died. Never clown people who were victims. I got a lot of messages of love and support from people who were in that community saying, "Hey, listen, we don't go out a lot, and I'm glad like you're bringing light to it. We're hoping things that change. You're actually helping us deal with this." And not saying that makes anything right, but when I stopped doing it, I realized me, the cops, the mayor, the president, the parents, the funeral homes could not stop what's going on in Chicago. I used to do those videos and it just so it was a dark cloud that was kind of hovering over me when I was doing it, because like it wasn't something positive. It wasn't fun to talk about, despite what you might have heard. And I realized I'm like, at a point I blame the music. I blame the music of the Chief Keefs, the Lil Durks, the Lil Reese, the Lil Jays, the Young Poppies, the Lil JoJos, the LA Capones, the P. Rico. I blamed all their music for the pain, suffering, and violence, all to realize one day it will never stop. It will never stop. Historically, this would have been like a lit ass war in Chiraq video, but I just posted on my Instagram. I didn't post it really for people to shame these people, but to understand the living and mentality going on there. And the story was, hold on, I'm gonna find it on my page. Follow me if you don't. Chicago man thought he was shooting at his ops when he shot a Chicago police officer and at ATF agents. You know, I could admit growth. And this is why I don't have conversations with the likes of disgusting ambulance chasers and bums like a Myson. Because I've learned a few things. This type of story, I would have clowned this nigga. I would have clowned him that his kids in 5 years would have hit me up like, please act, just take the video down, please. Now, even though it's still a little, like, it's a little hilarious, but I won't even clown him. I understand. It's PTSD. You're living in a neighborhood. You're not used to seeing police officers. You're always plotting, planning for your rivals to pull up, for your rivals to do something, for your rivals to try to kill you. And in a moment where you might see some undercover people, you're not thinking it's cops. You're thinking it's somebody trying to take your life. You know what you do? You act accordingly. The Warren Chiraq Academics clowns the fuck out of him. The 2021 DJ Academics, I understand why he did what he did. Still stupid. I understand why, though. He's a product of his environment. His life is literally thinking that people from an opposition block or gang is about to kill him constantly. He sees cars that look low profile, this and third, driving up and down, might go slow here, whatever. He's saying, before I go out, let me just start blasting at y'all. Don't make it right. Should he go to jail? Of course. But is that mentality his fault? No. This one is. My throat feels scratchy. That's why I'm coughing. Jesus Christ. I'll read the story real quick. It says a Chicago man allegedly told authorities he opened fire on an unmarked car carrying a police officer and two federal agents early Wednesday because he thought they were the ops or a rival street gang. And he thought they were surveilling the neighborhood of Southwest Side, the Southwest Side. Eugene or Jen, he's 28, facing federal charges in connection with shooting that wounded the officer and two agents just ahead of the visit by President Biden. What was happening is that Joe Biden is going to walk through Chicago. So you know what he did? He sent the feds to go look at it. Go make sure that shit's safe. One of the feds go with local police to go look at it. He gets shot. McLaurin is charged with one count of using dangerous and deadly weapons to assault an agent within the United States, within the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol and Tobacco and Firearms and Explosives. He faces a maximum of 20 years. During a brief court appearance before U.S. Magistrate Judge Heather McShane, a prosecutor said the feds want McLaurin held in custody as a danger to the community. A defense attorney for McLaurin waived a detention hearing for time being, meaning that he'll stay in federal custody. They said he was arrested, blah, blah, blah. He was transferred, blah, blah. The shooting happened. This is where you find the real shit. Happened just before 6 a.m. 6 a.m. is morning time. On the East Coast is 2:30 a.m. 6 a.m. is literally in 3.5 hours. It happened in the wee of the early morning time, or right before the sun came out. As the officer and two agents were getting onto the northbound lanes of Interstate 57, about a mile from blah blah. The officer was grazed in the back of the head, and one was shot in the hand. Other one suffered a wound to his side. They were taken and released. Who is to be blamed, chat? And how do we fix it? I'm a law and order type of guy. So I usually say, let's take it. You got to take responsibility for what you're doing. But, I get to realize also some people are in positions that they didn't pick to be in. It's not like they chose to be in their position, so they're choosing to make actions afterwards. Some of them is what it is. All right. Anyway.